Good morning, good morning, good morning. What is going on, guys? I'm officially back in LA. It feels great. Got to sleep in my own bed last night, which is fantastic. Got to say what's up to my dogs. They dug up my yard. They dug up my yard. So I was a little bit frustrated. Um, but I got lots of hugs, and that felt really good. And my cousin and I got to hang out. So I got to see a friendly face, someone that um, spoke in English. All right, you guys. I don't know if you guys have ever been to France, or if you ever met a French person for the first time. I would love to hear your take. But one of the challenges that I had in France was sometimes getting people to speak in English with me, right? And listen, I took Spanish throughout high school and college. Like I took no French whatsoever. So I was constantly whipping out my phone and like doing the whole Google Translate thing in order to get people to talk to me. But after some warming up, some buttering up, normally people would eventually start speaking with me in English. But that's neither here nor there. I was just really excited to be able to speak with somebody, in English, and us just like, be able to have a conversation on some mutually exciting things. Kind of like LeBron James coming to the Lakers. As a lot of you guys probably know, or I've talked about it before, so you should. I'm a huge Los Angeles Lakers fan. Grew up in LA, grew up loving the Lakers, and so when LeBron announced that he was coming, I couldn't have been more excited. I was a low key LeBron hater. That was part of the conversation last night, actually, with my cousin. Is that it took a long time for LeBron to earn my respect, and he did that after he went to Cleveland, or when he returned to Cleveland and brought them a championship. That's when I was like, you know what, this guy is just the greatest on the planet. Kobe, I'll forever love you, dude. Kobe, you're the dude. But I gotta give it up to LeBron. LeBron is this generation's guy. So that being said, well, LeBron, he wouldn't be as great as he probably is if he wasn't dedicated to his craft, right? And that's part of what I want to talk about today is figuring out life hacks, different productivity hacks in order to help you more productive with your day and with your time. So if there's one thing that I've noticed is that all the greats, they dedicate time to their craft. And what if you're playing basketball, if you're launching a company, if you're in school, you're getting your master's, whatever, all of the greats, they figure out time throughout their days, throughout their weeks, throughout their months, whatever, purely dedicated to getting better, right? And so LeBron James, just going back to that example, he wouldn't be who he is. Obviously he's got his talents, right? But I think the second part of the equation is the work ethic, right? And that's what I always go back to, the art versus science of things. And so his work ethic is crazy. Outside of just like being one of the first guys in the gym, hiring like extra trainers, taking his nutrition seriously. He also has changed his game during different times of his game, right? And so you notice maybe like his first couple years in the season or of his career, he was like really aggressive, constantly like attacking the rim, and he still does that now. But his game developed. Like he developed like a post game. He developed like he was shooting for a while. Definitely a mid-range game. I mean, LeBron can do whatever he wants, but that's the point, right? Is that he's really good, but he has changed his game, during different parts of his career, and he changed his nutrition, and so part of like getting better about just figuring out ways to become the best version of yourself, your job, your work, whatever, is figuring out ways to hack your own productivity, right? And so one of the things that I love to do is I love playing basketball, right? Just like, again, like that is just something that has been important for me, for as long as I can remember. And just helps me out in a lot of different ways, right? So if I'm not playing basketball, I feel like I'm not productive. And I think, what it boils down to is figuring out the difference, again, between your wants versus your needs. And so, funny story, when I was in Paris, I looked for a game every week. Like I tried playing basketball so hard while I was out there, thinking that I was going to be easy, and I wasn't able to find a single game. And so, like I did all my research. I was on Yelp. I walked for almost like 3 miles looking for this game, looking for this park, and so nothing didn't end up working out. And so I'm really excited now that I'm back to be able to go and play some basketball. Since I've launched Food Tribe and since I've launched Startup Sharks, I've had to get much better about my time management, right? And part of my problem is that I tend to take on too many projects or overcommit myself, or I don't know. It's just I feel like I come from a place of a lack of time rather than an abundance of time, right? And that is something that I've had to come to terms with, or that I would encourage all of you guys to come to terms with, is that there are only 24 hours in a day. That's for everybody, right? And so the amount of work that you're able to put out within those 24 hours is entirely dependent on you, right? So that could be anything from so I talk about like your capacity, right? And then like also your productivity, right? And those two things go hand in hand. And so capacity is like the work that you actually put out, and then productivity I'm using as an example of like efficiency. And so at different points of your career, just like LeBron, you have to figure out how much you want to put out, and then you also have to figure out like what you can effectively do given that you only have 24 hours in a day. And so one of the things that I have learned to do is, I've had to learn a couple different things in order to get better with time management. The first falls on my shoulders. I got to learn how to stop overcommitting myself. That's just, I think that comes from a place of people pleasing and want to make sure that everybody feels good and is happy and all that stuff. But, it ends up not serving either of us if I don't have the time or if I don't really want to do something. And so, it's become important for me to just like learn how to say no. No means no, like no meetings, like I can't do it. And so I think the other part that I've had to get better at is learning how to, engage with my teammates and getting my teammates involved. And so whether that means like, delegating or, asking someone to do something or hiring somebody to do something, that all becomes an important part of, the startup building process. But, the life management process is figuring out like, the different areas of your life that, that you're just kind of phoning it in on, right? Like the things that, you say are a priority, but, you don't really follow up on it, or, the things that, you love doing and that make you really happy and you feel guilty when you do it. You shouldn't feel guilty doing the things that you love. Like it should just be this place of joy, like, oh man, I got so much time. And that's why I'm excited to go play basketball today, right? I'm going to go play for probably like 4 hours, if depending on my gas today. I had 6 tacos last night. I said I was going to do it. I said I was going to eat all the tacos, and I had all the tacos. And so yeah, I mean, I got to go work out, right? And this is going to be a time that's protected, that I'm not going to feel guilty about, not taking meetings or taking calls. This is, something that I need, right? If I'm not playing basketball, it hurts my business in other ways, right? It kind of kills my motivation. So if I can't play or get any sort of like regular activity going on, I just don't like the way that it makes me feel. And so by incorporating the discipline of setting aside time and, for doing the things that I love or the things that you love, I think that it brings, balance to the other areas. And so, I just want to just kind of quickly hop into, how to manage your time, how to, avoid distractions. And, just because I say distractions doesn't mean that it is a bad thing, right? It's just a distraction is just something that you didn't plan for. And so, if you're giving too much of your time to your distractions, then, I would encourage you to, revisit your strategy and ask yourself, well, am I making the best use of my time? Because if you're not making the best use of your time, then you're not putting out, more activity, more work, right? And that's the goal. You want to put out more work so that you can get closer to that 10,000 hours mark, right? If you have a minute, search Google for, 10,000 hours and mastery. And that's basically the amount of time that you need to put in to, master any sort of craft, right? So LeBron, he hit his 10,000 hours probably like in high school. Like this guy was crazy. But, again, like that is just, it depends on who you are. And, that just is really dependent on who you are, because if you're, if you're not happy about, your path to get there, then you have to figure out another way to get there, right? You have to figure out a way to be creative. So it's going to be dependent on, the amount of time that you actually you want to put in, or the amount of effort that you want to put in, the things that you have to do, the things that you love to do. What's going on, Barry? Nice to see you, amigo. Thank you for checking in. But yeah, and so, if you guys are watching the replay of this video, definitely, or if you're joining in live, make sure to announce yourself. I want to engage with you. I want to say hello. If you're watching the replay, do me a favor and, just comment, say what's up, say what you do, say where I know you, all that good stuff. Right. And so I had a bunch of things that I wanted to hit today. So I just want to make sure I'm managing my time well. Cool. And so if I did miss your comment, I mean, it's tough, like balancing, talking, and because I think about you guys. I write notes ahead of time, or I just started writing notes ahead of time, in order to make sure, again, like I'm talking about the topics that you care about or that you find interesting. I've been a startup founder for about 2 years now. Before that, I spent about 12 years working in startups. Also in everything from market research to product development to digital marketing strategy to sales. So I've worked with some really big clients that have done some pretty amazing things in terms of like innovation and figuring out new ways to talk to customers. And so when it was time for me to make the leap into running my own business, I just kind of doubled down on that experience. And so I launched Food Tribe as a side hustle. It was just a passion project of mine, and something that, during the ends of my, career working for the man, quote unquote, it was just something that I decided I was going to dedicate my time to, right? It was, so I was working, my regular work schedule, so 40 to 50 hour weeks. Sorry, I'm going to stand a little bit, guys. And then on the side, I was blogging and I was documenting my experience, launching a startup from the start, what it was like. First time entrepreneur, didn't know what I was doing. And sometimes I still don't know what I'm doing, but I'm figuring it out, right? And so, as one of the reasons why, I'm starting to go live and putting out more content around this process is, number one, it's therapeutic for me. Like being able to talk about my experience and, what it's like. And, this is a difficult game, not everybody can do it. And so, by finding my tribe out there, all of you got smart people that are interested in, learning from my mistakes, learning from my failures, and are also just looking for, ways to connect, way to network. It's been really good in terms of incorporating some of your strategies and running my own business or businesses, excuse me, and, kind of applying those and, pushing me forward and increasing that productivity that, we've been talking about. And so, again, this conversation today is specifically around time management and avoiding distractions, or how to plan for distractions at least, right? So basketball for me is a distraction that, I have decided it's not something that I want, it's something that I need. If I'm not playing basketball, I'm not happy. I'm not putting out as much work as I possibly can be, which means it's taking me way longer to get to my 10,000 hours, which means, I just got back to LA, and you know what? I'm trying to go somewhere else. I'm trying to go to Bali. I'm trying to go to Mexico. I'm trying to go to Barcelona, and so, the sooner that I can get there, the sooner that I can find a path to get there, the better, right? And that's the goal, is to build the best possible businesses that we can, but to find balance, right? Because it's not always just about, working all the time. It's about, figuring out the things that you want out of life, the things that you love, the things that, put a smile on your face, that, bring you joy. That's what it's all about, right? For me, that boils down to a couple different things, which, we don't have to get into right now, but basketball is one of them. I just like to play. And so I'm just going to quickly walk you guys through my day. When I feel like I'm in my flow, that flow state of, not like it's not like I'm having like a really good day. It's like I'm having a really good 7 days, or I'm having a really good like 30 days, or dang, these past 3 months, I've just been killing it. We hit all of our goals. We're knocking out of the park. And so the more days like this that I can put together, the better in terms of, my effectiveness, my productivity, the amount of happiness that I'm like sharing or exuberating, these are the times that I'm just like feeling like the best out of life. Right. And so, I plan 30 days or 30 years in the future. And in order to get there, right, like, so 30 years is that legacy point, right? The legacy that you want to leave behind in terms of like, the person that you were, and the business, or what you're basically like the effect that you want to have on the world, right? And so for me, like, my companies are part of that legacy. I want to build these great businesses because I want to impact people positively. I don't know, I screwed that one up. But, I want to have a positive impact on people. And so in order to have a positive impact on, not just myself, in terms of like personal development, giving everything, the best, my greatest, all that stuff, that also means building a better business for my clients, making sure that they're getting the most amount of value, the most amount of, happiness, joy, victory, whatever it is, by working with me and my team. And then I'm accountable to my team. And then also to my customers, right? The people that are looking for leadership from me. And that's the goal. We want to be better leaders. And part of being better leaders is understanding what your strengths and what your weaknesses are, maximizing your strengths and figuring out a way to double down on your weaknesses. And sometimes, part of weakness development is doing the things that you're scared of, working on the things that you feel like are impossible or that you can't do. And, before you know it, those begin turning into strengths, right? And that's the goal, right? Is to not have, any weaknesses. We're all gonna have weaknesses. That's not my point. I don't want you, internet trolls like saying, hey, everybody's got weaknesses. Yes, this is true. But, the idea is that, you understand the things that are preventing you from moving forward or keeping going. You want to keep going. That's what it is. That's what it's all about, is to keep going. There is no destination. Your point of arrival is the day that you can find joy in your everyday. And that's what we're all looking for. All right. So first thing, when I'm having a kick-ass week, a kick-ass day, kick-ass, quarter, the more days like this that I can put forward, the better. You're going to have your own formula. If you're interested in, me sending you what my schedule looks like, comment in the comment section. And let me know. I will contact you via Messenger, and I'll just send you this list. No problem. But it boils down to a balance, right? Like, so the balance that I always am seeking to achieve is, around, again, like the things that I want to do, the things that I need to do. That is like, mind, body, spirit, right? So making sure that my mind's right. Making sure that my body's right. I gotta work out and eat well. And then my spirit's right. And my spirit comes down to friendship and love, giving back, helping people, all that good stuff. And so this changes. I'm gonna have different schedules on a weekly, quarterly, or monthly or quarterly basis, and even from an annual basis. But and those are gonna have different benchmarks. And we can kind of talk about those at a later time. But I'm just talking to you about an average day, right? Like a really, really good day. So the first thing for me is I wake up and I meditate. Boom. First thing, 15 minutes. It's like I'm up, awake in the world. Still before I know like exactly what's going on, I dedicate 15 minutes to just like getting thoughts out, right? And that's coming from a non-judgment place. So, just thinking, like rehashing about, the things that I would like to do. And the ideal is to not have any thoughts at all, right? And, we can talk about like meditation strategies later. But, typically what happens is as a result of meditation, I'm naturally planting seeds for what my day is going to look like, the things that I want to accomplish, all that good stuff, right? Immediately after that, I have to go to my craft. And so we talk about, what LeBron's probably doing, right? LeBron might meditate in the morning. First thing he's probably doing is getting some sort of workout in, right? And so he's probably something that's going to push his basketball game forward, right? And that could be dependent on, where he's at in his life or the moment or whatever. But for me, it's been writing down all of my thoughts, like, figuring out the content that I want to create, think about the things that are on my heart that I've been observing, talking about my experiences, doing all that stuff, right? Like writing for 1 hour has been just like, it's pushed my business forward. So my number one encouragement for you to do is not to meditate. If that's, not your thing, figure out what your creative passion is, whatever your creative outlet, the thing that you would do if no one were paying you, right? And so if that means like painting, go paint. If that means taking pictures, go take pictures. Figure out what your why is, the thing that you want to get across, the thing that you want your legacy to be. And for me, that has been writing. So I will write for a minimum of 1 hour every day. From there, that's when, and that is only when I start the process of scheduling my day. And so I use, again, this method called time blocking in order to, become as efficient as possible. In addition, I use another method. So in conjunction with figuring out, my blocks of work time versus my blocks of leisure time versus my, whatever, my wants versus needs. I also use a method called a tomato timer method. And so I've talked about this before, but, again, I'll break it down for you guys. The tomato timer method is by breaking out your hour and applying it, or, whatever your work period time is, and, creating a block of intense work where you work distraction free, right? So if that means turning off your phone, if that means going outside, if that means, whatever, like locking yourself in a room, whatever period of time that you decide that you're going to work for an hour, for 2 hours, for 3 hours, whatever, that's all you're focusing on, right? So getting through that grunt work, that hard work. If it's emails, respond to emails. If it's writing a report, do the report. If it's doing research, do the research. But whatever it is that you are focusing only on that one thing. And that's probably going to change, on a daily, weekly basis as you progress, but that's the goal, right? After I schedule my day, I will, do a little bit more, again, reflection, leisure time. So I'll walk my dogs, and then I'll drink a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. My mom got me these glasses or these mugs. Thank you, Mom. And then from there, I drink water, body, right? You just want to make sure that, I'll drink like a big, I hate that I'm showing you guys this because I hate water bottles, but if I'm drinking water bottles, I'll drink probably 4 of these in the morning, just to get my body going and, making sure that I'm giving it what it needs. I might eat a light breakfast, so something like definitely veggies in the morning. So like maybe like broccoli and eggs, some turkey bacon, something like that. And then I start working. Right. And so the first half of my day, so at this point, it's probably like, I would say 9:30 or 10 in the morning. And then I will start working. And so, I'll work until, whenever it is, I decided that I want to take my break for the day. So my lunch. And so, that's when I'll get outside. I might go on a walk, I'll go to the grocery store, do whatever, and then I'll come back and I'll just enjoy myself for a little bit. The second half of my day is focused on meetings and calls. And so, conducting my meetings, doing my calls, that will normally, like the notes from those meetings, will normally set me up for, the work that I'll have to do tomorrow or, the rest of the work week. After that, I'll probably shut it down at like 5 or 6. And then I will probably take my dogs out again, feed them. If things are going really well and I'm feeling good, because that's been a tough work day. I've walked the dog several times already at this point, so I'm tired. I'm maybe a little bit tired from that. I'll hit the gym or I'll do some yoga at home. Yoga is great for me. It's another form of meditation, and just stretching is really good, but I love the weights as well. So, I'll hit the gym and I'll hit the weights, for a bit if not playing basketball. After that, probably like 9:30 or 10 in the evening, I'll take my content in for the day, whether I'm reading, whether I'm watching Game of Thrones, whether I'm watching Laker games, whatever. Then I'm going to bed. and I'm doing it all over the next day. And so, that has been, figuring out, the best way to run my days has been a work in progress. I'm constantly, trying new things and, trying to constantly get better in terms of time management. Time management, again, is something as a startup founder I have had to learn to get better with, right? And so, I'm committed to getting better. And so that just means, taking an honest look at yourself, being reflective, and saying, am I doing things the right way, or am I BSing a little bit? And if you're BSing, just figure out a way to get better. It's not that serious. And if it doesn't work, you just figure out the next thing that works. And that's what it is. Yeah, that just, it really boils down to you being able to figure out what you want from life. And that's the thing that is the hard question, right? Is, figuring, actually taking an honest inventory at, what you want, and asking yourself, well, am I doing the things that, I say that I want, or am I just, spewing out that hot fire? And the goal is to not spew out hot fire. You want action. You want action to do the things that you want to do. So, for me, that's admitting that I tend to overextend myself. So I'm working on that. I've actually just started working with a virtual assistant, which I'm really excited about, because that's just a way for me to get my time back, so that I can do those activities that are going to be business building, that are going to push Food Tribe forward, they're going to, push me as a founder to become better. And so those are the things that I want to be focused on, right? Not, figuring out how I'm going to play basketball today, because I'm already going to know. And that's what those good founders are doing. Zuckerberg, he learned Chinese in like 6 months. That's crazy, but that's not impossible. So figure out a way to crush those crazy goals, make them a reality. That's what I want to do. So I'll let you know how things go in terms of getting my time back. If you are interested in engaging with me and watching more videos like this, I would love to work with you. I'd love to chat with you. Follow me on Medium. Link is in this post. I've got some free stuff for you on there, just talking about my experience as a founder. Also talking about some of the different ways that you can get some of your productivity back. So I'll be talking about things like this, how to run more effective businesses. All my resources are free right now. I'm really looking for feedback from you guys in order to improve and in order to make sure that I'm delivering value to you. So just continue to sign up for my e-course. Again, the link is in this post. Follow me on Medium. Tell me what you like about the content, what you don't like. I know that I've heard from a lot of you guys, keeping it real, that I use too many crutch words. So and it's not lost to me. I'm listening. And so part of that personal development is I'm exploring, maybe next quarter, finding a coach that can help me with public speaking. And that's how I see it. It's not about, the things that you can't do. It's recognizing what you can't, what you're not so good at, and just figuring out a way to get better at it. And that's all we want. And, by engaging with me, that's what I hope that we can continue to do amongst each other. Entrepreneurs are a very special community. And our job, our purpose is to serve other people. So I want to serve you. I want to help you guys out, and ideally we can do that by continuing to engage. All right, that's all that I got. I hope this message finds you guys from a place of abundance. Go in peace and love. I'm gonna go play some basketball. Peace.